Hello fellow cultists and welcome back to the channel. Now this video is going to be a bit different than my normal gameplay videos. It's going to be a lot more laid back and casual. I was going to set up my green screen and everything so that you could see me as I was talking, but my area's in, it's just a bit of a mess right now, so getting the lighting and stuff set up is just a lot more work than I think it's worth just so that you can see my ugly face. But regardless, we're going to be answering the questions that you guys left me. Most of these I pulled from my Discord. I'll try to put all of these up on the screen if I can remember to. I'll probably just put some gameplay or something in the background just so that you're not looking at a blank screen the whole time. I'll try not to keep you here for too long. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into the first question. The first question is, have I ever been very close to quitting the game? That game being Warthunder. I was actually pretty close at one point. When they did the redo of the German tech tree, when they moved everything, basically when they removed the mouse, I came extremely close to stopping just entirely from playing Warthunder. The issue mainly was at that point that what was I going to go to? That if I left Warthunder, I basically lost my YouTube channel in its entirety, with the exception of some of you who would continue watching my other stuff. Wasn't really a good option for me at the time. I did take a break for a bit, or kind of distanced myself for a little while, but eventually I got back into it. Next question. Can I call you Steve, or eventually sometimes Ethan? I'm not used to Bone. Now I'm assuming you meant Cone, not my alt account, but my real name is Ethan. You can call me Cone if you prefer. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me, although why people still call me Steve at this point, I don't really understand, but you can pretty much call me whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. Next question. What is life like as a cult leader? What are the struggles and the benefits of your line of work? Well, daily struggles involve maintaining total and complete control over the teachings of Cone to prevent any false leaders. Next question. Can you do a vid with Ruski 9000 and Dollar Plays? Now, obviously, these are just two of many content creators that make Warthunder related stuff. And I'm always up to collab with other creators. And I've been trying to do so as frequently as I can. I'll probably throw together a playlist after this video goes up of all the different collabs. And I'll throw future collabs in there as well. So if you want to see me featuring other creators, or even me being featured with other creators, I'll try to put all those together in a playlist for you guys. But as I said, I'm always up to do that if a content creator wants to reach out to me, or I'll try to get in contact with them if a lot of you guys want me to try to make a collab with them. What are the plans for future World of Tanks videos? I don't really have any specific plans right now. I do want to make more content on World of Tanks because I enjoy playing it, but I don't have anything specifically in mind aside from one video talking about the Frontlines game mode that I have footage for, and I just have not gotten around to doing the voiceover for it, so I might get to that relatively soon. No promises. How long do you think you will continue to post Warthunder content if you branch out to other games in the future? As long as Warthunder is still enjoyable for me to play, and there's still enough people who enjoy the content to justify me making the videos, basically as long as they continue to get a reasonable amount of views, I don't plan on stopping. I might at some point if the game dries up and there just isn't anybody left watching the content, but I don't foresee that happening anytime soon, so it's going to be around for the foreseeable future. What would make me permanently quit Warthunder? If it ever gets to the point where I can no longer find enjoyment in this game, or a better alternative comes along, then I would probably quit Warthunder. Maybe not entirely at once. I wouldn't just pull the plug on everything, but I would probably start to wean away from it if there was a better alternative, or if the game just got to the point where it was so dead that making content was just pointless. Between 1 to 10, what is your favorite color of the alphabet? I'd have to say Brazil. Do I like to cook, and what is my favorite recipe and dessert? Now, I couldn't think of a favorite recipe off the top of my head, but I don't hate cooking. It just isn't my favorite thing to do. However, for a dessert, I do like either cherry, vanilla, or cotton candy ice cream with gummy bears as a topping. Very good. Will you ever build a global colonial empire with the Cone as head of state? It's already begun. What is my all-time favorite tank in Warthunder? Good question. I have a very hard time picking favorites. That's why if you've ever watched me when I'm streaming and somebody says, "What's your favorite tank?" I basically never have an answer for them. But tanks like the AMX-30 and the Lorraine are extremely high up on my list. I used to absolutely love playing both those tanks. Granted, they aren't as much fun to play anymore due to a lot of issues with BRs that I could talk about all day long, but I won't. I might do a separate top 10 tank video in the future, so do let me know if you'd like to see that, but like I said, I have a very hard time picking favorites, so that's pretty much the best answer I can give you right now. Why did I choose the FCM-36 of all weird tanks to be my, quote, tank persona? Most of that was unintentional, I will be honest, but people seem to really like the Conehead meme that sparked from the video that I will try to put up in the card if I remember. Probably won't, but a lot of you have probably seen it. And that meme kind of eventually turned into just the Cone meme. So when I was trying to find a new name for my channel, it just sort of fit as I was doing that. And I am a fan of things that are less known and not as mainstream as a lot of the tanks that are in Warthunder. So the FCM-36 being underappreciated and relatively unknown fit me very well. Do I still have the certificate claiming me as an official Lord of Sealand? Yes, I will put a picture up right now. Am I sexually active? Bro, I ain't even active. You seem to hate Warthunder, but you still play. Why is that? Do you believe Gaijin will get their expletive together and fix the game? Much of it is due to the fact that most of you are only here to watch Warthunder content, since I don't have much faith left in Gaijin's effort to fix this game, or lack of any effort to fix the game. I do still enjoy playing the game, but it's getting harder to find enjoyment in it, I will be honest. If I could either get a mouse or a cone, which would I choose? Probably the cone, since it would be far easier to maintain and also drive. Just trying to imagine using a mouse for anything other than a lawn ornament is, yeah, it's quite a thinker. Why did I choose Warthunder over World of Tanks? Gameplay-wise, I just prefer Warthunder. I like both games, but when it comes to playing them for an extended period of times, Warthunder is the one that I prefer. Although, again, that's starting to not be as true. What vehicle did you grind the most RP/Silver Lions with? Unintentionally, my RU-251, followed by my Wirbelwind. This is mainly due to the fact that they're in my lineups for Germany, or most of my lineups, that is, and I just use them as backups a lot. This next question comes from 2and900, another fellow content creator. You can check him out. I'll try to link him somewhere. How do I feel about the future of Warthunder with the current direction it's going in, and how will the release of Enlisted affect it? I think Warthunder's only going to fail if they continue with the current direction, because even when the player count peaked during the quarantine, Gaijin did not take the opportunity to start to decompress BRs at all. They didn't do anything. They were just like, hey, thanks for helping us reach our maximum number of players. Here's a booster, as usual. The release of Enlisted could also have a big impact on the game's player base, since if the tanks reach a similar level combined with infantry, it could drag a lot of players away, especially if they manage to better balance than Warthunder. Do you actually like the design of the FCM-36? Yes, the design was actually really innovative for the time. Obviously, the one-man turret and relatively low speed were drawbacks, but if you look at the engine and transmission placement combined with the armor angling, it was pretty good at the time, and had it been armed with the upgraded 37mm that they wanted to mount in it but couldn't due to issues with the turret welds, it could have actually posed a serious threat to the Germans during the invasion. But France had a lot more issues that led to that being a complete and utter disaster than just not being able to mount a 37mm. What made me change my alias from Mr. Steve Gamer to ConeOfArc? As I said in the announcement video when I actually changed over, although a lot of you probably couldn't really hear me because the audio was very bad in that video and I didn't realize that until like afterwards. Or a lot of you may just not have ever been around when that announcement video went up. It's mainly due to the fact that my name is not Steve, as I mentioned in a previous question. There's also a larger channel that has a similar name to Mr. Steve Gamer that I did not want to really have any issues with in the future. Not that I'm worried that they'd be like, you copied my name. More of just it's harder to rank in search results when someone has a similar name to you that has a much bigger following. Not to mention ConeOfArc is a much more unique name, and uniqueness is very, very important to me. What is my personal least favorite vehicle in Warthunder? Probably the PT-76, especially the Chinese one. Take the PT-76 and remove the only redeeming factor of the stabilizer, and I don't understand why that thing's still 5.3. What other games do I play other than Warthunder? Not really any, to be honest. I do occasionally play World of Tanks, and I just recently started playing the new Modern Warfare campaign. I actually beat it right before recording this, so I might do a little bit more with the new Modern Warfare in the future, but due to having to work full-time and everything, I don't really have as much time to do YouTube and play other games on the side, so pretty much just Warthunder. What tank do I hate fighting the most with a vehicle of similar BRs? I absolutely hate facing IFVs as ATGM vehicles, because an IFV is essentially just an ATGM carrier with a cannon, so it makes you feel like, hey, this isn't very fair. What's my favorite channel art that's been made? That is a very, very good question, and it is very tricky for me to pick because honestly I like almost all the art that I have ever used, but I absolutely love my new outro art. Sergeant Pink did a fantastic job with it, and it just fits so well with what I did. Do I own any firearms? No, but I do plan to get some in the future. What are your opinions about Gaijin using vehicles from nations and putting them into other nations? So basically Lend-Lease tanks. I actually don't have any issue with this. I know a lot of people really dislike it, but I've never had any problems with it as long as there's nothing else to fill the gap, because I think the priority should be filling gaps with unique vehicles from that nation or from a nation that was closely allied with that nation rather than just copy pasting stuff from other nations. Would I like to become a full-time YouTuber if I got the following? Yes, that has always been my goal since it's my dream to create content for a living. Do I regret at all choosing Warthunder to be my channel's cover game? Is there another game you'd prefer had stuck? Honestly, I do regret it at times since it severely limits what I can do, but there isn't really any other game that I could think of to replace it, so unless I was a variety channel, there's really no other way that I think I would have gone as a creator. What's my favorite activities to do besides playing video games? Well, not much right now because we're supposed to stay at home, but I like to go to car shows a lot, and I plan to try to do some more fishing this year, hopefully. Not sure what's going to happen with that yet. What was my best ever game in terms of player vehicles destroyed? I think it was around 22 to 25, somewhere in that area. I honestly can't remember, it's been so long. I did make a video about it, and I'll link that up in the card so you can check it out. I think it was just like a gameplay basically, though. I don't think I actually added anything over top of it, so it's a little bit boring. Am I ever going to do the 24-hour stream? Yes, I still plan to do that stream. The issue is I couldn't schedule a day for it, and then my internet just got to the point where I couldn't stream reliably anymore, so I just sort of gave up with it for the time being. But once I'm able to stream again, I'm going to make sure I do the 24-hour stream. I promised you guys I was going to do it. I'm going to keep my promise. What was my favorite video to make? I honestly can't think of a specific one that's my favorite. Again, very bad at picking favorites, but I absolutely love making those short videos like the Street Fighter Delat Torn one and the Cone Landing meme video. Those are just extremely fun to make, and I'd love to do more of those in the future. Would I consider doing tours of real-life videos in tank museums? Yes, and I've actually done one of those in the past, and I have footage for another from, like, last summer that I still need to edit and upload, so I should really get around to doing that at some point. How do you deal with online disputes? Now, I know why this question cropped up. Usually, I just try to ignore the drama. I only get involved if it gets to the point where people are making incorrect claims about me or people I know publicly. I've gone through a couple different things, but it's never usually gotten to the point where it's gotten to a lot of people publicly. So I usually just kind of try to keep my distance from it and just, you know, move along. How much money have I spent in total on Warthunder? I think it's about $600 to $700, something like that. Most of that money was spent when I did the box opening video a while back. That cost me, I think, $320 in total for that. Link to that up in the corner. Help me earn a little bit of that back. Any educational YouTube channels that I watch regularly? I like to watch both Sabaton History and Mark Felton. I do, from time to time, watch some of the other history channels, but a lot of them I'm not as huge on the personalities that are behind the channels. Not that I have anything against them. It's more of just, like, I don't particularly like listening to them as much as the people who do Sabaton History as well as Mark Felton. They're the two that I prefer. This next one's actually a pretty interesting question. I didn't expect to get something like this, but what do I think about people who try to enforce their belief and only their belief on others on a subjective topic? How do you deal with those people if you ever see them? I do run into people like this quite frequently, actually. There's a lot of them in the Warthunder community, and I understand that it's easy to lock yourself behind a belief. I kind of am answering this from the perspective of someone who's trying to talk to someone who is nation-locked, so to say, where they think that one nation in Warthunder needs to be better because it's been nerfed too hard by Gaijin. Obviously, this can go to a lot of other topics. Now, I understand that it's easy to lock yourself into that. Just, man, this tank needs to be better. It's not performing well. But I always try to see things from both perspectives. Like, again, just using this as an example, let's say I think the Tiger isn't as good as it should be in Warthunder. Well, what about the things that face the Tiger? Have I played those? Have I actually gone out of my way to grind up the other nations that face the Tiger, played against the Tiger, and seen how they perform? Because playing as a tank is easy. You just play as that tank, and then you say, oh, well, based off my experience with this tank, it should be XBR. Well, if you go and play as this stuff facing it, do you start to realize, oh, hey, maybe if I play the tank differently, it's actually fine at that BR? Because that's happened to me a lot. Examples being the T-29, stuff like the T-34, the American one. Once you play those tanks, you start to realize, oh, hey, there's actually a lot of places in the armor that can be penned easily from the other side. And now that I've played as them, I understand better how to kill them. So try to always see from both perspectives, and try to always grind both trees if it's available to you, because having that experience of being able to see it from both sides of the equation can actually change how you view things. Next question. A cone decal in the future in Warthunder? Well, that is not a decision I can make. It's entirely up to Gaijin. That's a different partnership thing that they have than what I'm part of. I'm part of just the normal partner program where they allow me to request things for videos, which is a huge help, and it's very, very nice to be part of that. I'm very thankful for it. But I have no control over whether or not I get a decal in the game, hopefully in the future, but I cannot say. And the final question, when was my current avatar made? She was made about a year ago, if I remember correctly. She was originally created with help from Sergeant Pink for my channel banner back still when I was Mr. Steve Gamer, and she just eventually grew into the channel mascot, especially after I transitioned into ConeOfArc. I swapped over to a new profile picture featuring her rather than the Wirbelwind that I had before that, and it just sort of has grown from there, and I'm honestly pretty happy with it. So again, thank you guys so much for asking me all these questions. Hopefully I didn't keep you here for too long, and hopefully the next video will be a little bit more entertaining for you than this one. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much, and I hope you are still awake. I'll see you next time.